It's the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Monday, the 27th of February. Hey, we're coming to Cullman tomorrow night for Storm Alert 2012, the annual Severe Weather Awareness Tour across the state. We kick it off at 6:30 at the Civic Center, and we expect to see a lot of people there. So many stories to share from last year's generational tornado outbreak on April 27th. We hope to see you there. Check some of the Skycam shots around the network at the insane hour of 5 a.m. That's the Walker County Courthouse in downtown Jasper. Up the road, there's a look at downtown Haleyville in Winston County, and way down south, kind of a foggy, humid morning on the Alabama Gulf Coast is seen from the Phoenix All Suites. Water vapor satellite view across the nation. Nice trough coming into the California coast. That'll be stirring up a fuss later in the week, as you'll see. In fact, pretty active weather coming up for the next couple of weeks. Temperatures this morning are mostly in the upper 40s and low 50s, Birmingham 53. And around the nation, pretty cold up on the Canadian border. They're below zero up there this morning. But no sign of any of that really getting in here anytime soon. Watch warning map around the nation. How about a blizzard watch for parts of Minnesota and the Dakotas? Winter storm watch surrounding that. Also some wind and snow issues out west, but the east is pretty quiet this morning. All right, let's peer at the convective outlooks. This is day 2. This is tomorrow and tomorrow night. Got a slight risk over the plains, Kansas and Nebraska for hailers, but the primary risk is really centered over Arkansas and some of the adjacent states. And within that, there is an enhanced 30% probability of severe weather within 25 miles of a given point over a pretty good chunk of Arkansas and parts of eastern Oklahoma. And that could be a tornado setup there. Now let's go to Wednesday. Got the standard slight risk for about the northern half of Alabama and the adjacent states and points north. And within that, we have an enhancement. The 30% chance of severe weather running from near Muscle Shoals and Huntsville up to about Columbus, Ohio. That would include Nashville and Louisville. And again, we'll get into that in detail in just a moment. And the rain for the next 5 days, valid through Friday evening at 6 o'clock. This is suggesting rainfall amounts of 1 to 1.5 inches around here. All right, model fans, let's take a look. This is the 06ZGFS, the global forecast system at noon today. This is valid at 500 millibars, about 18,000 feet up. Trough on the west coast. Down below that, some moisture over the southern half of the state, but I think today should be pretty decent. Kind of a mix of sun and clouds with mid-60s likely today as the warm-up begins. Tomorrow, the western trough is progressive. It is moving east, and down below that, a surface low spins up over northeast Colorado, 1,000 millibars. And then by tomorrow night at midnight, the surface low deepens as it approaches Minnesota. You can see that nasty blizzard set up there. It's a big-time snow event there for parts of the Dakotas and Minnesota. And, of course, down here in the warm sector, we'll be watching for thunderstorms, but I think tomorrow and tomorrow night, mostly dry. There could be a shower, yes, but I think we're capped off and not much happens. All right, Wednesday, the upper trough is well to the north of us, as you can see, so the upper support pretty far up north, and down below that at midday Wednesday, we have a surface low near Minneapolis-St. Paul, 996 millibars with a trailing front, down to about Little Rock and Dallas-Fort Worth. And, with a setup like that, you can have severe weather, but traditionally it's not a major tornado threat unless that surface low is farther south. This is the instability. Now, the one thing we are going to have going here is it's very unstable air. This is valid Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock local time, and we'll be up in the mid-70s, and you can see the instabilities will likely exceed 1,000 joules in advance of that front. And by golly, the higher instabilities in the frontal passage could very well come Wednesday night. We'll mention a chance of showers during the day Wednesday, but I get the idea that the biggest issue might be a squall line Wednesday night with a chance of strong, maybe damaging straight-line winds. This is the helicity, and those are just marginal. Clearly, the better helicity values are way, way northeast of here. So, you can never rule out the chance of a tornado, but this certainly does not look like a major tornado threat with numbers like that. And there's the EHI. Those numbers are, fairly significant, mainly because of the instability and not necessarily the shear. And finally, the significant tornado parameter, all under a 1, which is good. The higher values are well to the northeast of here. So just get the idea that might be a Wednesday night squall line that might produce some strong, maybe damaging straight line winds with a very marginal tornado threat. All right, Thursday, the front's just going to stop as it loses the upper support mainly south of here. I think Thursday we might get away with a dry day. Partly sunny and no cool air involved. We'll still be in the low and mid-70s, which makes sense because you know what Thursday is, the first day of meteorological spring. Hey, March 1st. All right, Friday, we can't keep our eye off the ball here. Got a new trough coming in. And down below that, we've got moisture feeding north, and that suggests a chance of showers during the day Friday. And we'll go to Friday night at midnight. The trough is closer. Down below that, a very deep surface low all of a sudden wraps up northeast of Detroit near Windsor, Ontario, and that suggests an active convective night Friday night. And again, we might see some active convection beginning Friday afternoon. Friday night looks active, and again, we're not going to get into any severe weather parameters this far out. We got to focus on the Wednesday night event, then we can focus on this. Could that bring some severe weather? Absolutely. In fact, it probably will if this is right. But whether it's a squall line, tornado threat, we don't want to get very specific. We'll just say a chance of strong to severe storms, maybe late Friday or Friday night, and then by Saturday at midday, everything's out of here. And we turn cooler. Highs drop back in the upper 50s or low 60s with a good north breeze. So after a Friday night round of storms, Saturday would be clearing and cooler. I think the day will be dry. Sunday looks gorgeous. Sunny, a chilly morning. We'll start the day in the 30s, have a high in the 60s. So for now, the weekend looks dry, and clearly of the 2 days, Sunday would probably be the nicest day with sunshine in full supply and a little warmer afternoon. And a week from today looks good. Monday, sunny with upper 60s. We'll check the end of the forecast, March 13th. No sign of any cold air. And, you know, that's about the time that blizzard of 93 happened after a warm winter, relatively speaking. And that suggests it's going to be mild and maybe ultimately some storms. There is some cold air coming in. Check the North Atlantic Oscillation. A couple of members bring it pretty strongly negative, but most of them do not. So again, we'll be watching, and I fully expect some late-season cold snaps. They happen every year, but no sign of any super big issues if this is right. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes on the blog. The next video here by 3:30 or so today. And if you live around here, we invite you to watch us on television this evening, ABC 3340 in Birmingham at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a great Monday, and God bless.
The first thing you've got to understand, you cannot rely on an outdoor siren. You cannot hear those inside a home, a building, a church. It won't work. You've got to get something inside your house. That's a weather radio or maybe a smartphone app. We work with a company that's developed a wonderful weather radio app for Android phones and iPhones. It knows where you are, and if you're in a tornado warning polygon, you get the warning. And if you're not, you don't. It's an effective device, and it's a great way to be sure you get the warning.